Welcome back and Merry Christmas to the Full Force Fathers podcast alongside my co-host Dave. Brett here. Episode 41, Christmas episode. As you can tell on YouTube, I am very festive, and this is totally in Dave's honor because Dave loves nothing but Christmas. He is a Christmas junkie. He loves Christmas. So
yes,
I'm wearing the Santa hat, and let's rock and roll, Dave. It is our Christmas episode. As you know, for special holidays and seasons, we do special episodes, and today's our Christmas extravaganza.
It is an extravaganza, and I have to say I like the Christmas hat. It's nice, although I'm wondering why the ball of the hat is hanging so far down. It kind of looks like a cat toy that the cat would just kind of bounce and swing back and forth.
Does. So this hat I have had now for 8 years. My first year in Arizona, a very, very good friend of mine, Taylor, when we were doing we were teaching a Christmas class, I think at the boxing club we were both personal training at, and still a great friend to this day. She actually want to say congrats to her. She just had her first baby. Her and her husband Mac just had their first baby, a little baby girl. But that's the story behind this hat. She gave this hat to me for our Christmas class, and it has been in my possession ever since. So if we really want to know the detail about the hanging ball, then we're going to have to go to the source and ask her. But I've had this hat ever since. And I wear it every year now. So this is the 8th year. I wear this every year around the holidays. I like to wear it. I wear it to work. People at the office think it's funny, but I thoroughly enjoy the Christmas hat.
I'm sorry I'm not more festive. Normally we have some festive things around us. This is my last show in Arizona, so it's difficult. We have most of our stuff is packed. The best I could do, the best I could find is a Rudolph T-shirt, Team Rudolph.
That's respectable.
That was the best I could find for right now. So, but happy holidays, everybody. Merry Christmas. This is going to be a fun episode. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah. And let's kick it right off. All right. We all know what Christmas is about, right? It's Jesus' birthday. All right. It's not about the presents under the tree and the shop nonsense that the media and the world wants you to think it is. It's really about the good Lord, Jesus' birthday. So today's Bible verse, it's a longer one. It's my favorite Bible verse. There's tons of Bible verses about Christmas and Jesus and the birth of Jesus, but it is his birthday. So I'm going to take it right out of Luke, and it comes from Luke chapter 2, and it's verses 6 through 12. And bear with me, it's going to be about a minute because it's a long verse. A lot of chapter 2 in here. So it starts with, while they were there, the time came for the baby to be born, and she gave birth to her firstborn, a son. She wrapped him in cloths and placed him in a manger because there was no guest room available for them. And there were shepherds living out in the fields nearby, keeping watch over their flocks at night. An angel of the Lord appeared to them, and the glory of the Lord shone around them, and they were terrified. But the angel said to them, "Do not be afraid. I bring you good news that will cause great joy for all the people. Today in the town of David, a Savior has been born to you. He is the Messiah, the Lord. This will be a sign to you. You will find a baby wrapped in cloths and lying in a manger." All right. There's a lot of ways to interpret that. There's a lot of different verses out there that say the same thing. This comes from the New International Version that I read. Okay. And this is Luke. Luke, maybe it's up there for me. It's hard to rank books in the Bible, but Luke is right up there. And I do enjoy that verse the most of Jesus being born. It's straight to the point, right? There was no rooms. He was born. They wrapped him in a manger, in cloth, and put him in a manger. It is about Jesus' birthday first and foremost, always on Christmas. And that's your Bible verse, Dave. Anything you want to say about that?
Well said. I think that is a perfect intro into this episode because that's where it all started.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have episode 41 today. So when I was going through numbers for episode 41, we got a good list. Now, shooting from the hip, where does this rank? Is this a 5 seed? Is this my initial reaction was a 4, maybe a 4 seed, a strong 4.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it's right up there. It's not a top 1 or 2 seed, but it's a team that definitely should make the Sweet 16.
They're top heavy. It's top heavy.
There's some great guys on the list. The backup's not so great, but there's some really good ones in each sport. And I think that's what helps separate it from some of the other ones we've had recently that kind of fall a little bit behind.
Yeah, what do we got? You go. You take the
So
lead here with
let's-
basketball.
Yeah, let's start with basketball. I mean, I don't think there's any better than Dirk Nowitzki, Dallas Mav, great Dallas Mav. I mean,
Yep.
that dude could just stroke the ball from everywhere. I mean, he was amazing to watch. I'm glad we got to kind of see him through his entire career because he was a lot of fun to watch.
Dirk is an unbelievable talent, and first of all, he gets no credit for staying for the staying with the same franchise his whole career. All right,
Yeah.
He won titles in Dallas, he won one title in Dallas. Excuse me, he lost one to the Heat when it was Dwayne Wade and Shaq, and he won one when he beat the Heat. Well, the first year of the
Big three, right?
of the nonsense that Miami created down there. They were heavy underdogs in that series against LeBron and Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade, who had just gotten together down in Miami. And Detroit, Dallas shocked the world. Dirk is a legend. And another thing about Dirk, I could say he's the one who ushered in the 7-foot shooting big man because he's a Euro. He's not an American. And when you were 7 feet tall growing up in this country, you played center. Period. End of story. That's what it was. Dirk came along with this nice soft touch and good hands and good range. Great free throw shooter for a 7-footer. Great 3-point shooter. Awesome basketball player. Great basketball player. First ballot Hall of Famer, no doubt about it. He had a great team. He played with Steve Nash down in Dallas. I mean, great. I mean, he's a top 20 NBA player all time, in my opinion. And you could argue, there are some arguments. He may be a top 10 all-time NBA player.
Yeah, very well could be. I couldn't agree more. And you hit it right in the beginning. The fact that he stayed with the Dallas Mavs for his entire career, I mean, that is so hard to find nowadays. So yeah, that's. I think he's the best one on the list across the board. But what a great place to start. So how about Glenn Rice?
Yeah,
I mean, he had a long NBA career. Played for a lot of teams. I think he played for 6 teams. Started with the Heat. He was, he got his way around. I think he was with Charlotte for a while. He played with the Knicks. He played for a few different teams. Went to Michigan. He was a Wolverine. Interesting enough, he averaged 18 points a game through his NBA career. He actually averaged 18 points a game at Michigan too. So pretty steady across the board. So he was a good one. And how about the late great Wes Unseld? I think he was a Washington Bullet, right? Wasn't he a Bullet? Mm-hmm. Hall of Famer. It's another, great basketball players. I think those are 3 great basketball players. You think of all the great basketball players that have their numbers in the 30s or the 20s, but 41 right here on the NBA side, pretty strong.
And Glenn Rice was a great shooter, great 3-point shooter.
Yeah.
His best years probably were in Charlotte when he was the star of the team. Mm-hmm. Towards the end of his career, though, he was smart. He went and started playing with Shaq and Kobe and was winning rings out in Los Angeles.
Yeah,
I'll tell you, man, those Lakers teams, you had 3 of the greatest clutch shooters at the end of their career that played on that team. You had Robert Horry, who was just Mr. Ring. He just wins titles wherever he goes, Robert Horry, all right, who won titles with Houston, the Lakers, and the Spurs. You had Robert Horry, you had Glenn Rice, and you had Rick Fox, all 3 deadly 3-point shooters, savvy veterans that played on those Lakers team. Yes, Kobe, it was always Shaq and Kobe, right? But you had great players around them, right? Derek Fisher, you had good, rock-solid players that complemented those rosters. Yeah, Wes Unseld, obviously not our time, but a Hall of Famer, legend of the game. Baseball, I will say, Dirk probably takes the cake here for the best number 41, but Tom Seaver in baseball is right behind him. Tom Seaver, multiple Cy Young Award winner, one-time World Series champ with the Mets. He's known, he's a legend in New England because we grew up in England, and he's, the Mets, the years the Mets beat 86, right, when they beat the Red Sox. He's a legend. I mean, 12-time All-Star, 3 or 4-time Cy Young Award winner, strikeout leader, ERA leader. I mean, Tom Seaver is an absolute legend. And if you're statistically, he's probably right up there. Him and Dirk would lead the front line on this team. You got another Hall of Famer pre-our era, Eddie Matthews, third baseman, won two World Series with then the Milwaukee Braves. And there's one here that means a little bit to us growing up in New England. John Lackey.
Mm-hmm.
John Lackey kind of had that I don't give a crap attitude. Not the best athlete, but he showed up. He freaking put in work, was a workhorse for years with the Angels. And then the Red Sox, where he delivered a couple, was he on one World Series team or 2, Lackey?
I think it was just 1.
You would know
I
more
think
about
it
the Red
was just
Sox
one.
history than
Yeah.
I would, but
I'm pretty sure he won just one championship with the Red Sox.
I think that was that the 07 team. Was that the team that it wasn't the 04 team? I don't think.
No, it wasn't 04. I think it was the 07 team. Yeah, because
Yeah.
he started in 2002. He actually pitched all the way to 2017. He had a long career.
Yeah. John Lackey's a good one.
Yeah, he was just a grinder, man. He'd get out there and he'd just grind. Like it wasn't necessarily pretty, but he would just push through. And I mean, he was a lot of fun to watch. I was happy to see him on that Red Sox team.
Yeah, no, and he was on a part of a good Angel staff. I don't know.
Yeah.
Did he win a World Series with the Angels too? Was he part of that 02 team, or was that 01 the Angels team that won the World Series? I'm going to look it up. Why? Go through the couple football names. And now I'm interested. Look it up while I go through these. While I try to find that
Okay.
data.
Yeah, so
I'm interested.
Yeah, on the football side, we got some good guys. Antoine Bethea.
Oh yeah,
Roman.
It's a safety. It's a defensive back number in football for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. How Roman Harper?
Roman
He's
Harper's
another going. Played for a long time. Yeah, real good. And Charlie Waters. So
Yeah, sure.
you know we've got some great players across some of the major sports in 41. So I really do think this is a sneaky good list.
Yeah, I'm almost there. I'm looking for that Lackey really fast. I'm really interested. Kevin Brown also wore 41 for a time too, and he was
a Yankee, right?
Yeah, Padre Yankee, and he won the World Series with the Marlins. Kevin Brown.
That's right.
He won a World Series with the Marlins. Come on,
You didn't find any soccer 41s?
I did not. 41 was not a popular soccer number.
Yeah.
So Lackey. Okay, so we were wrong. Lackey, okay, we need to correct ourselves even more. He is a 3-time World Series champion. He was part of the 02 Angels team. He won with the Red Sox in 07, and then he won one with the Cardinals. I forgot that he played for the Cardinals.
Wow, that's pretty good.
15-year career, 3-time world champion, and he was
with the Cardinals or with the Cubs?
No, Cardinals. No, he was with the Cardinals.
Okay.
Well, that was the year they must have beat Texas, right? That's the year they beat Texas, or they beat because Pujols' first title was when they beat the Tigers.
Are you sure?
Yep, I'm very sure.
Because I'm looking at something that says something different. It says he won it in 16 with the Cubs.
Well, maybe he's a 4-time champion because he definitely won a title with the Cardinals.
Okay.
World Series.
I don't know. It says right. No, it says sorry, we didn't do our research. It says Angels in 2002, the 13 Red Sox, and the 16 Cubs. Is what I've got.
Well, maybe. I mean, I'm just trying.
Regardless, he's a 3-time World Series champion, which is that's hard to do.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it could. I could be wrong. I mean, we're there. Listen, that's the internet for you. He for sure was on multiple teams. Let's just put it that way.
No doubt about it.
And a good rock solid pitcher to boot.
Yep. So, no doubt about it.
Yeah. So it's like teams, Cardinals, Cubs, 3-time Worlds. Yeah. Maybe you're whatever. We're gonna move on from that.
I know it pains you to say that I'm right. I know it does.
Well, yeah, because I'm looking at 2 websites. One says 16 with the Cubs, and one says right here with the St. Louis Cardinals. So we'll go with he won 3 titles. That's all we know.
That's right.
3, maybe. How about we just go 3, maybe 4? We'll just go with that. Yeah, okay.
He won 3. We know he won 3.
We know he won 3. But
hey, he won one with the Red Sox, and quite honestly, that's the only one.
That's the only one that matters. He won one with the Red Sox. You're right.
Yeah.
So
I think he was on John Farrell's pitching staff. If it was 13, he was on John Farrell's pitching staff. Man, we were way off on him.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Hey, anyway.
Hey, but you know what? Guess what? All that matters is we know he wore number 41, right? That's all that matters. That was the entire point of the conversation was he won 40. He wore 41. So
yes,
it didn't matter if he won 1 World Series or 41 World Series. He wore number 41.
Yeah, no, that's for sure.
All right,
that's
Dave,
for sure.
Let's get our focus straight here now, okay? This is our Christmas episode. We are kicking off the bat right out of the gate. Maybe my favorite. What's your favorite subtopic in Christmas? And that is the Christmas cookie. All right,
That's a good one.
Christmas is famous for a lot of things. Jesus' birthday, presents under the tree, but Christmas cookie may be the most famous. Oh, what's up, Maverick? If you're watching on YouTube, he put on some Ray-Ban aviators because once again the Arizona sun is piercing through the wall of his house.
I have nowhere else to go.
Couldn't you just turn your back the other way or something?
No, but then the sun, you wouldn't even see me because the sun would be coming in and be so bright behind me you'd never see my face. Which everybody wants to see on YouTube. So
I'm not a photographer or a cinematographer, so I wouldn't know anything about camera angles and sunshine.
I'll ditch the sunglasses as soon as the sun raises just a little bit more. And for those of you who say, why don't you just close the blinds? My blinds are closed. The problem is there's a little archway above the window that can't take any blinds, and that is right where the sun is right now. It's a pain in my ass, but that's okay. I got sunglasses today. Last week I didn't have them, and it drove me crazy, so I'm ready to go. But anyway, back to cookies. Who doesn't love cookies?
We're going to consider that an accent window, but yes, we have cookies. And for me, I'm a fan of Christmas cookies. My wife, as everyone knows, is a tremendous baker, and she was just speaking of, first of all, it's December 13th, so she's been baking Christmas cookies for a while. And she makes the best peanut butter. I don't even know if it has a name. I just call it the peanut butter cookie with the Hershey Kiss. I think some people call it a peanut butter crinkle or whatever the hell they call it. Guess what? When you give me a soft peanut butter cookie with some sugar on it and you stick a Hershey Kiss in it, peanut butter and chocolate is better than peanut butter and jelly. It is the greatest combination in the world for food. All right. Peanut butter, cookie, Hershey Kiss. I don't even have a second favorite because that one is so much further along than any other cookie.
I know you just put the one on there, and I was shocked because I got a long list.
Andine will make about 1,000 Christmas cookies a year, and about 300 of them are just that particular cookie because Andine makes about 20 or 30 platters to give out to people, and then growing up in Connecticut, we'd just leave the cookies in the attic because it's a free refrigerator in the wintertime, and she'd have a freaking huge box, just layered with those cookies so I can just pick at them throughout the entire month of December and January.
That works. That works. So I've got a long list, but my top three, I'll give you my top three, and I'm going to give you a few of the other ones that didn't make the cut because Christmas cookies are just so good. So my favorite Christmas cookies, I've got two. One that Casey makes, and then one that is just nostalgia for me, going back a long time. So it makes my top list just because it doesn't feel like Christmas without it. So the first that Casey makes are the jam thumbprints. I don't know if you ever had those. It's a piece of dough, and then you push your thumb down in them, and you put a little jelly on the top. Those, to me, with a little raspberry jelly in there, are incredible. My wife, they're amazing. So she makes those special for me every year. I got like a separate tin to keep them away from everybody else because those are my go-to. I love those. The cookies that have nostalgia to me that bring back Christmas memories, it's not Christmas without them, are old school anise Italian cookies. They got a little hint of anise to them. You've got to hand crank them. You got to have a special machine that you have to hand crank. And it's kind of like a sausage maker, right? And you put them out on your hand and you put them on. And last year was the coolest year for me because the kids helped me with it. And it was so much fun. We had a blast. Casey, the kids, we're all making the old Italian cookies that we had recipes passed down generations to us. So that to me is just phenomenal cookie. You were going to say something?
A lot of people don't know about those cookies, but when you grow up in New England like Dave and I did, well, we grew up in small town America in New England, small little Italian communities, Irish communities, all the first immigrants off the boat settled in New England. So you can go back to our hometowns and there's still Lombardi's Bakery, these little Italian little corner bakeries that will, until that generation dies off, they will be there. And Lombardi's is the one. They make the Christmas cookies just like that. We always had them in my house growing up. My nanny and my nana when I was a little kid. It wasn't Christmas. It wasn't Christmas without those cookies. You're absolutely correct. And it's hard for some people to understand because people that grew up out west and stuff, there's just not a tradition out there. That is a big time, prime time New England tradition.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I'm glad you touched on that. And then this is a sneaky one for me because everybody laughs at me, and you'll probably laugh at me too. So whatever. But have you ever had the pretzels, like a little mini pretzel with a Rolo melted and a little M&M jammed in the top of it?
Yeah, Andine makes them. I throw them in the trash, but they're
oh my God, they're so good. You got the salt, you got the chocolate. Oh, blows my mind. I love it. So Casey and the kids make those for me too. But that's my top three. But there's a couple others that don't quite make the list, but are still there. The butter cookies that you can get in the tin at like Walmart, and I forget who makes them, but I mean, I could sit down and polish off a tin of those things like it's nothing. I got to be really diligent about not doing that. I just have one or two and then put them back in the closet. Those for me are just so good. And then we used to have these things called melt away bars too, and basically they were sticks of butter melted into a pan with a little bit of flour and stuff. And you'd sprinkles on top. So.
Oh my word! Listen, back to your pretzel with the Rolo and the M&M. Andine does make them, but she doesn't make them with a Rolo. She puts a Hershey Kiss, melts it down, and sticks the M&M in it. I didn't even think they made Rolos anymore, and I don't think it can be called a cookie because it's a pretzel. It's not a cookie, but
no, I don't care.
The the butter cookies that you're thinking are called Royal Danks. They're the they are the blue tin that you can get at every store in the country. But yes, they have the nice big sugar crunches on the top, like the big granules of sugar on the top. Some of them. Yeah.
When we were walking through Walmart last night, and I pulled a Clark Griswold. I said, if anybody's looking for any last minute Christmas gift ideas for me, I'm partial to these tins of cookies and these tins of popcorn here. Yeah. So please feel free to wrap those up and stick them under the tree.
Hey, listen, those are great gifts. A lot of people give you listen. You go to Walmart and buy. You could buy those tins of popcorn. I don't know what they cost anymore, but they used to be like $9.98. You could buy 10 tins of popcorn, and there's 10 presents for under $100. You're out the door.
Yeah, and you know me, man. Popcorn's my go-to. So
yeah, popcorn's your thing.
Popcorn for a gift for me, I am one happy guy.
All right, moving on. What's your okay? Listen. A lot of our favorites are going to be similar. Besides our singular memories and things like that. Obviously, cookies aren't the same. But Christmas, like we got Christmas movies. Okay, that's the next topic. I'm going to start. Christmas Vacation is the number one Christmas movie. I am a comedy guy. Dave, first of all, Dave, if you listen to the show, Dave knows I'm not a movie guy in general.
No,
so you better make me laugh, or I'm going to fall asleep, or I'm just not going to watch it. Christmas Vacation, Elf, and for me, Tim Allen and the Santa Claus. Even the Santa Claus 2 when Charlie's a little bit older. Like those are just three that stick out. My kids watch them. I mean, we literally just watched. I mean, like you said, I watched Christmas Vacation probably 20 times throughout the holiday season. We literally watched it again this morning when the girls got up. They flipped on Christmas Vacation. It's just the iconic movie. The amount of one-liners that come out of that movie. I mean, it's legendary.
We could recite the entire movie, and that's I think the funniest part. And we do that when we watch the movie. We just kind of say the lines before they come, and it's just it's just the classic. I'm with you. I think it's the greatest Christmas movie of all time, and I honestly don't even think it's close.
Mm-hmm. It's a movie that never gets old too. That's the good thing.
Yeah, I mean, every year it's funny every time you watch it, and I mean, like you said, hundreds of times watched that movie probably over the course of my life, and I laugh every time at all the different parts. There's no part of the movie where I'm like, man, this sucks. Well, it is good from beginning to end.
And one other thing about Christmas movies. For the most part, 95%, I'd say 90% of the greatest Christmas movies of all times are comedies, which makes it even better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're comedies, right? Elf's funny. The Santa Claus is funny. Christmas Vacation is funny. Give me another one that you probably put on your list. Home Alone. Class. Oh, how did I not even put Home Alone in there? I missed Home Alone. Kevin McAllister? Are you kidding me?
Yeah. I got a few other, and we mentioned like Elf. I mean, that one's another one of the best ones of all time. The Santa Claus, trilogy is really good, like you mentioned. One of the ones that we like to watch is Four Christmases. I don't know if you've ever seen that. That one's
Reese Witherspoon.
Reese and Vince Vaughn. Yeah, that one's really funny. One that I have to watch every year, and I don't care how I got to find. There's two: Christmas with the Cranks with Tim Allen, because I'm a huge Tim Allen fan.
Yeah,
and also Jingle All the Way with Arnold and Sinbad.
No.
Oh my God. It's so funny. It's so dumb, but it's so funny. And speaking of, this isn't a movie, but have you watched any of the Santa Clauses on Disney Plus with Tim Allen yet?
I have.
Have you? Did you like them or no?
Yeah. Harold and Kumar is such a stoner movie from my day, so it's really hard for me to have him be the star.
Yeah.
Kumar. I think that one's Kumar's. Harold. I don't even know which one he is, but it's really hard for me to. I love the storyline of the whole thing. I think
great.
It's awesome. Now the girls have. I think I'm 2 episodes behind. I watched the first 2, so I think I'm 2 behind. The girls have watched it. You know what else we didn't mention either? The Grinch, the original Grinch, like, and the Jim Carrey. It's why I don't understand. Like, you are the Grinch. You are the human Grinch. Jim Carrey in the Grinch is a classic movie.
I love the more recent cartoon. I really like that one. I think that's funny. But I'm not a big Jim Carrey fan either.
Yeah,
as you
I
know.
am. Jim Carrey's my jam.
I don't know. That movie never did it for me.
Yeah, no. I think the Jim Carrey version is so great. My kids, Finley is like, we talk about knowing movies word for word. My 4-year-old, soon to be 5-year-old, knows the Grinch word for word. Great. I mean, it's tremendous. What's next? What's next on the list? Moving on from movies.
Moving on from movies, we're going to go to favorite tradition.
Okay. Mine is a tradition that is no longer a tradition, so that's why it's my favorite. It's an all-time. So when I was a kid, every Christmas morning we got up, we went to my grandfather's house. Beepa. That was, we never called him Grandpa. We called him Beepa because when my sister, who's the firstborn grandchild, couldn't say Grandpa, it sounded like Beepa when she was a little kid. So Beepa has stuck forever. It's always been Beepa. And every Christmas, that's what we did. We went to my grandfather's house for Christmas breakfast. No matter where you were, you drove far and wide. At 9 o'clock, you were at Beepa's house for breakfast. My grandma made the most amazing spread of breakfast casseroles, egg casseroles, cinnamon buns, fruit, you name it, ham. And it was just a tremendous, tremendous thing. So for me, it's not even close. It's a tradition no longer after my grandfather passed away. And then we moved just 2 years after he passed away. So that one for sure is the tradition for me.
That's pretty good. Mine is somewhat similar. It's a tradition that's no longer there. And my grandmother, my Italian grandmother, used to make Christmas Eve dinner. That was her thing. And she always used to do the traditional 7 Italian fishes. And I didn't even like the fish. Yeah. It wasn't my thing, but it was what I grew up on for Christmas. And my dad's the same way. He wasn't really big into fish, but it just smelled like Christmas when you'd go and you'd kind of smell the fishes cooking. And my grandmother had all these different things going, and she was older and, pulling off Christmas Eve for her entire family. So that for me is one of the best memories and traditions that we had. And Casey and I, for a long time, continued the tradition of the 7 fishes, actually well past my grandmother's passing, my mom's passing. We continue to do it. We put our own spin on it. Last year was the first year we didn't do it. And it felt weird. It felt really weird. Might have to get back to it again this year, but it's also not the same without the same family there. So it kind of loses some of its appeal for me. So I think that's kind of why we tried to change it up a little bit. But for me, that's the one. The old Italian Christmas Eve dinner at my grandmother's house that was always a special one. Yeah, no, for sure. And tying tradition into memory. I have 3 that stuck out for my favorite memory. Now, we've made a million memories since Madison was first born at 12 years ago, through Caroline, through Finley, and there's tons of kids' memories. But overall memories, like if we're talking a personal memory, I have 3. If you guys listened to the show 2 weeks ago, I kind of mentioned that gun story, how my dad, we always were one present guys and one present kids, and my dad hid the gun, and then had me go get something out of the closet, and boom, there was the new gun. So I'm not going to go over that one again. But we always had, like I said, the one big gift. So then one year I'll never forget, we got to go, if those of you that listen back at home in Connecticut, local Torrington natives, Dave, remember Tommy's Bike Shop on Main Street? Yes,
right at the bottom of the hill. When we were kids, department stores like that and bike stores and kid stores, local places still ruled the world. It wasn't always freaking Walmart. So when Walmart came in, Tommy's Bike Shop pretty much essentially went out of business. And Tommy's Bike Shop was this old brick building, 2-floor store downtown Torrington. And I'll never forget the Christmas that me and my brother, we used to go there because my dad is a big mountain bike rider. So we used to get to go into Tommy's all the time. We get to go in the back door instead of the front door because my dad knew everybody in there. And one year he's like, what do you guys want for Christmas this year? And, me and my brother, we were at the age probably 10, wanted new BMX bikes, right? 10 or 11. You wanted the newest, best BMX bike. And I'll never forget picking out bikes. And my dad didn't get them for us at the time. And we didn't know, but he knew which ones we wanted the whole time. And Christmas came along. And that's when that was back when Christmas, you asked for something, but you weren't guaranteed to get it. You didn't know what presents you were getting. Kids nowadays, I feel like they're spoiled. They already know what they're getting ahead of time. Back then, it was a crapshoot. You didn't really know what you were going to get. And I'll never forget, me and my brother picked out these Haro used to be a good BMX bicycle company. I don't even know if they're even around anymore. My brother picked out this like chartreuse yellowish one, and I picked out this red one. And I'll never forget waking up in the morning and right there in front of the Christmas tree, bam! My dad went and picked them up, and me and my brother had these freaking brand new BMX bikes. We thought we were the coolest kids on the block riding them around on Christmas Day. It was 0 degrees outside, you know. And then one other one that sticks out to me, very brother related memories, because me and my brother were so close in age that we always kind of got the same thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. We always kind of got the same thing. And then when we were little, I'll never forget opening up Christmas. We got matching remote control cars. And I'll never forget. Cool. It was one of the coolest memories. And I don't even think it was a day, but we spoke of this a few weeks ago, how don't get your kids toys because they break them and forget about them. Within the first day, maybe the same day, I was probably 6 or 7. I remember that, you know, I broke the car. We drove it off a wall. We drove it off the porch, or we drove it off something, and it broke. And it was already Christmas morning. We get these remote control cars, and they're broken within like 2 hours.
That's so funny. That's pretty good. Those are some good ones. I've got a few memories as well. I mentioned it earlier. Last year, making Italian cookies with my entire family and my kids actually joining in and helping with that process. That was cool for me. Just, you know, thinking about how many generations have made that recipe, and now my kids are learning how to do it. And someday, you know, they'll teach their kids how to do it. So that was a cool one for me. Similar story to your gun story from last week. There was this one Christmas that all I wanted, I forget what year it was, but it was like NBA Live, some other video game that I had really wanted. I was really into the NBA at that point. I really enjoyed video games. So I asked for this NBA game. And for my parents, we always used to put like the best presents in the bottom of, if they could fit, in the bottom of the stocking. Like that was like the kind of go-to spot. So a video game, you got to imagine, is pretty small. So we used to do the tree first. Under the tree, we'd open up packages there. There was no video game there. And we finally got to the stockings, and I got all the way through. I got to the last thing of the stocking, and I pulled it out, and it wasn't the video game. And I was like, man, like, my parents were usually good about it. Like, if I wanted something for Christmas, like I usually got it. So I was like, it's like weird. And I was like, whatever. And then I noticed my parents afterwards, like after I'd opened everything, and I didn't say anything, whatever, you know, like I'm grateful for the things that I had. But in the back of my mind, I was like, where's the stupid video game? So I see my parents talking off on the side, and my mom's like, Dave, did you open everything? I was like, yeah, I think so. She goes, go look around the tree. So I go look around the tree, nothing there. She goes, you sure there's nothing else in the bottom of your stocking? And I'm digging in the stocking, nothing there. She goes, hang on a second. So she disappears for a little while. Later, she comes back, and she's got one more package. She ended up losing it under the bed where she would stash presents upstairs. There was a bed, and she lost it way in the back of the bed, and she pulled it out, and sure enough, I opened it up. I think it was like back in like 96 or something. And here was this video game, and I was like, yeah, I got the video game that I wanted. So that was a good one. And then one other one that sticks out to me is I was racking my brain when I was a little kid. I used to come, my bedroom was all the way upstairs. I came down, and we had a big family room. So it was a long ways away. And I had to sit up the top of the stairs until 6 a.m. That was the thing. I couldn't get out, come down until 6 a.m. My mom would have to get up, start her coffee, turn the heat on, like do the whole thing. And I just sit there like ready to go, you know? And I came running down in, and I went buzzing right by we had a pool table in our big room. I went buzzing right by the pool table, right to the tree. And I sat down, and I was like, all right, here we go. And I had missed my dad set up on top of the pool table. He had put a big piece of 4x8 sheet of plywood. And on top of it, he built this enormous Hot Wheels track. And I completely missed it when I ran down the stairs. And we're going through the packages under the tree. And my parents are like, hey, why don't you turn around? And I turn around, and there's this enormous Hot Wheels track, and I had so much fun with it. But it was just funny. I was so excited. I missed the big gift on my way by.
Unbelievable. That's ridiculous. But hey, that's a typical kid. That's a typical kid. If you know, if it was a snake, it would have bit you, is what they always used to say. I know that.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, that's good. Now, question before we move on. You were a stocking after gift?
Yeah, and we still are, actually.
Oh yeah, so we're the opposite. We always did stocking first because we used to rip. My parents used to have us open our stockings, rip through our stockings, and then go to the gift.
No, we always used to bury some really good stuff in the stockings, so it just kind of became a tradition. And then Same thing with Casey and I, as we kind of started our lives together, we did the same thing, and now we do it with the kids as well. Now the kid, it's mostly, you know, there's normal stuff in there, but we still do stockings usually later in the day too. We do the presents under the tree, and then we kind of save that so the kids have something to open later.
Oh, it's not a bad idea that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So now we go to the flip side, because it is the season of giving. What's the best gift you've ever given?
Okay. So I have 3. I know this is always hard when we're doing a Christmas episode to pick one, right?
Yeah.
Last year was a good one. First Christmas away from Arizona, we got the girls Pepper. We got the girls a puppy, right? It's the first time we'd ever given a dog as a gift, or like a pet as a gift. We're not big pet people. We always had a dog, but it wasn't like a big announcement or anything like that. But last year for Christmas, the girls did get Pepper, who is, you know, a year and still full of P&V and rock and rolling all the time. And then there's 2 other ones that stood out to me. A few years back, actually, they came from the same Christmas. Our last Christmas in East Elixir Place, we had gotten Caroline, because Caroline, as anyone knows my kids, Caroline's nickname is the Beast. She can rock climb like a pro, and she's 9. You know, the kid's got a 12-pack. She's got shoulders. I mean, she's just a freak of nature athlete. She got my dad's athletic genes, no doubt about it. And so she loved to rock climb. So a place called Rock Solid opened up in Tucson a few years back, and we went there a few times, and Caroline just fell in love with it, dude. She gets to, you know, climb and jump and hop and all this other stuff. And so for Christmas, she had no idea what was coming, but we got her a Rock Solid kids membership, and we put the membership inside a box, a shoe box, and in that shoe box was a pair of rock climbing shoes. Now, if you've never rock climbed, if you go to rock climbing gym or you rock climb, they have a special shoe with a grip. They're ugly, they're uncomfortable, but that's what rock climbers wear. So that was an awesome one, because Caroline lit up, and then we were going like once a week with her over there so she could climb and have a good time. And as everyone knows, Caroline is just like me, ADHD out the roof. She needs something to focus on. If not, she's just all over the place like I am. She can't sit still. She's 100 miles an hour all the time. So rock climbing really settled her down, and it made her brain stop and think, right? Where, you know, handholds, where to grip next, you know, what route to take to the top and all that stuff. And she's also not scared of heights. You know, she's really, really fearless. So that was one. And then the other one I think was a family memory. That same Christmas, it was the year you guys came over for Christmas dinner that year. You had done the roast on the Traeger and brought it over. And Andy and I surprised the kids with a trip to Colorado. We literally went to Colorado because living in the desert for 8 years, you don't ever see snow. There's no white Christmas. And we really wanted to give the kids. Now, granted, my brother lives in Colorado, so it's a nice place to be able to escape to. And that was the year of COVID, and we got flights for like $50 round trip from Phoenix to Denver. I mean, it was the stupidest thing I ever heard in my life. So I said, Andy, how about we go up to see my brother Robert the day after Christmas, and we'll go up there till New Year's, and the kids can experience like a white Christmas just the next day. And here we are in the desert wearing tank tops and shorts on Christmas. And then Christmas morning, they open the presents. There's plane tickets. We're going to Colorado. And we got literally within 24 hours, we went from summertime weather to a foot of snow on the ground, blizzard-like conditions. We woke up and there was a foot of snow in Colorado. And it was just a tremendous, tremendous thing. We went to Vail. My brother had connections at Vail. So we went to Vail, got to ride the gondola and go to the top of the mountain and walk through Vail Village at Christmas time, which is like, you know, Vail Village and anything like that. It's so Hallmark movie. It's unbelievable, but it's so true when you do it in person. So that gift, because it was a family gift, right? We got to fly to Colorado. We got to rent a Jeep, Grand Cherokee. It snowed out the whole ride from the airport to my brother's house in Leadville up at 10,000 feet. It was just a true like Christmas movie type memory that was just phenomenal with the kids. Finley hated it the whole time because she hates the cold. She wouldn't wear gloves and it was snowing out. And if anyone knows Finley, she's my desert rat. Don't put that kid in cold weather. You will not like the outcome. And we were at the top of Vail, and it was snowing like a blizzard. And Finley wouldn't even put her freaking gloves on. It was so funny. Wow. It was great. So those are my best recent gifts given that and obviously involves the kids.
Yeah, for sure. That's a good one. I've got 2. One of my favorites. A couple of years ago, we gave the kids a trip to Disney. It was their first trip to Disney World. Which was so much fun because they opened the presents and they pieced together what was happening. And that was awesome because they had wanted to go for a long time. We waited. A lot of people go when the kids are really young and the kids don't remember it. So we wanted to wait until the kids were old enough to really experience it. And really understand kind of what it was and enjoy that sort of magic that was at Disney World. So we gave them a gift to go to Disney World in Orlando, and it was, I mean, an amazing trip. We didn't do it over Christmas, but we gave them the gift on Christmas. So that was one with the kids that Casey and I really love to do. And then another one, I hate to go on the dark side. It's kind of dark, but we gave my mom a star registry. One of those you can register a star up in the galaxy for someone. We lost my mom right around Christmas. Very painful time of the year for a while for us. But we gave her that. And now we also, in addition to the kind of commemorative, plaque showing where it is, we also have an ornament, and I get to hang that ornament on the tree every year. It's just kind of a reminder that she's there with us and also up there. So
that one has a lot of meaning to it for sure. How about best gift ever received? Go ahead.
This is a no-brainer. Traeger.
Who got you the Traeger?
My dad and Casey together, because it was an expensive gift. And they got me my first Traeger, and I still have it, and it's the one that cooks the absolute best. I'll probably never get rid of it. I will keep that thing in tip-top shape and work on it when it needs it. I've already done a couple things to it to make sure that it's operating efficiently, but it's got so much flavor to it. It is amazing.
Grill.
Yeah, I do. This is coming from the guy who loves to eat off of it. So
I got a $99 special, dude, and the thing breaks, I throw it in the trash.
Not me. I love that thing, man. And that got me, that really is kind of what started my passion for, barbecuing and that sort of, enjoying that sort of lifestyle. And for me, that's the absolute favorite gift.
Yeah, me it's simple. I'm a sucker, man, for homemade gifts. You name it. My kid, because my wife is so crafty. There's never a birthday or a Father's Day or Christmas that goes by that I don't get some kind of hand painted sign or something. And so I can't even list the things. If you walk into my office at home, my wall is just littered with things that the girls have gotten me. Things in mason jars to paintings on the wall, handprints. I am a complete sucker. I am a pack rat with that stuff. I don't throw anything away. I keep everything. That's why my desk in my office, as you can see, just look behind me. There's one right there. That's a sign that the girls painted. That's the mason jar with what you're thankful for that the girls gave me for Christmas last year. I am a complete pack rat when it comes to that stuff, and I'm a sucker for that. There's nothing better than a homemade Christmas present that didn't cost them anything to make, but it means everything in the world.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's a good one. And we are both in agreement on the meal. So why don't you share what's the best holiday meal?
It's just prime rib. It's not even close. I don't think we have to go through this very much. It's prime rib. It's got to be rare. It's got to be cooked right. You know what I mean? Because with a prime rib, you can't really screw it up because if you undercook it, it's just rare. Who cares? And that's the way that I like it anyway. So, Traeger prime rib, I guess if I have to pick a best way, when it's on the Traeger, it's better. But like even last year, we did a prime rib last year here. That was phenomenal. We did a nice 4-ribber, dude. And it's just, I love the everything about it. When it's rare, there's a nice piece of fat on there, dude. You can slice it off the bone. I mean,
good.
There's nothing else to say about it, and you name the sides. I don't even care because the prime rib is the dish. You put that slab of steak in the middle. Who cares if you got Brussels sprouts or potatoes? You name it. Yeah, that's the dish.
I mean, the sides are great, but for me, I can't go a Christmas day without making mashed potatoes and Yorkshire pudding. It's an English thing, the Yorkshire pudding, and it is so good. And Kendall loves it now. It's awesome. It's another family tradition. And oh my God, it's just it's the best meal of the year. Christmas Day is the best meal of the year. There's no question about it. Thanksgiving's a very close second for me, but Christmas meal is the best.
And I'd always take red meat over white meat anyways. You know what I mean? I always take a steak over a bird. There's no doubt about it. Whether it's a steak from a deer like venison or a steak from a cow, I'll take that over a turkey or chicken any day of the week. And the last topic I want to talk about, Dave, and this is an interesting topic, and we'll see where it goes. I put the notes in here on this, and you put a bunch of notes in there. I put a bunch of notes in there, and this is not really like a choose. It's either or. What do you like? What do you get more excited for? And this is a true question, and I don't think it's asked enough. Christmas Eve or Christmas Day?
Yeah, this one's really, really hard for me for a couple different reasons. So first off, Christmas Eve, the anticipation is awesome. Okay. Like as a kid, like you're waiting for Christmas, like it's all day. You're just like, oh my God, all these things. And you hope to be able to open some presents on Christmas Eve. Usually with my family, like Christmas Eve, we would do with like I said, my grandparents, my aunt, like we'd open up presents for them on Christmas Eve. So it was cool. And then it built the anticipation for Santa the next morning and, that excitement, gifts from your parents and sort of things like that. So it was great, but I never loved the Christmas Eve meal. Like I said earlier in the show, it's a great memory of mine and it holds a spot dear in my heart, but it was never my favorite meal. And it was you had a whole day, so that was good. But on the flip side, Christmas Day, you get to wake up, Santa Claus is showing up, you got all presents, you're just tearing through presents, you're playing with all your new toys, family's coming over, which is fun, you have a meal. But usually it's early. Typically, the meal's over midday, and then the day kind of stops. But I would choose Christmas Day just because, like, as a kid and even as an adult now, like watching my kids on Christmas Day, it gives me so much joy to kind of watch them and just kind of see them experience Christmas still and have that, just the belief in magic and all that sort of thing coming together still for me is phenomenal. So I would say Christmas Day if you're going to push.
Yeah, no, I mean, they both have their pros and cons, right? Christmas Eve is usually you go somewhere, whether you're going to a friend's house or we always went, my parents were divorced. We always went to my dad's for Christmas Eve, and there was always 25, 30 people there, cousins and nephews and friends and family. And, the anticipation for Christmas. We always opened presents on Christmas Eve at my dad's house as we got older. When my kids, once I was married and moved out and stuff, we always had, my kids got to open up Christmas presents with my dad on Christmas Eve, and Christmas dinner was always at my mom's. After we always went to my grandfather's. But it is really hard because Christmas Eve, in a sense, like when you move away, like when you moved to Arizona, like we'd go to your house for Christmas Eve and it was totally different, right? And It was cool. Like, it's, something about Christmas Eve that I love too, man. It's usually appetizers and I don't drink anymore, but you have a cocktail. You're just loose. You're relaxed. There's no stress. You're just going home to go to bed because it's just the next morning. And another tradition that I always loved on Christmas Eve, and Dean and I, we don't wrap unless it's something that we don't wrap a single present before Christmas Eve. Every single present for my kids gets wrapped on Christmas Eve. We don't wrap a present before there. Andine's got all her stash spots around the house where she hides them. The kids go to bed. Andine and I are usually in our pajamas, and boom, we bust out all the wrapping stuff. She's wrapping, I'm wrapping. We're just going crazy. We're putting it under the tree, and then here you go, Christmas morning. But yeah, you're right. Christmas morning, especially with kids, there's something very special about Christmas morning. They wake up, they want to go under the tree. Andine's got an egg casserole in the oven. The second she wakes up, she flicks on the oven, and I'm just drinking coffee and relaxing. It's like that day of the year where I actually let myself relax and I don't get out of my pajamas right away because I know once I get up, I'm out of my pajamas and I'm in my running clothes. It's just that day where you just take a deep breath, relax. Now, depending on what your traditions are, sometimes people have the roast on Christmas Eve. Well, I've always had it on Christmas Day, the prime rib, which is, probably takes the cake. But you're right. The thing that not that I dislike it about Christmas Day but there's so much hype around Christmas morning that it gets deflated by 1 or 2 in the afternoon. If you don't have a big Christmas dinner planned, Christmas is over by 10 in the morning, 11 in the morning, boom, day's over. And then you're kind of, kids are playing with their toys and kind of, and you know me, I don't sit still. I get bored. Like I get bored quick.
Yeah. This is going to be an interesting Christmas for us since we're going to be in Nashville and we don't know anybody. So it's just going to be the 4 of us. So we were kind of talking about like, what are we going to do? And it's going to be, kids are going to get up, they're going to open their presents, we're going to hang out. We're like, maybe we just make a marathon movie day.
Yeah.
Just keep movies going on the TV and, I'll cook the prime rib out there. Cause that's definitely going to happen.
And that's the other thing about Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve, like Christmas Day where it's got the explosion in the morning and then kind of Christmas Eve, the buildup of Christmas Eve, and the day gets better as it goes along, right?
True.
Kids are home from school. Sometimes you don't even, most people don't work on Christmas Eve or they get out real early and then the festivities kick off. You get home, everyone's relaxed. You're going over to Dave's or you're going to mom's house or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And, you get dressed up, get to go to church on Christmas Eve, depending on what mass you go to. And it's just, I don't know, Christmas Eve. I think Christmas Eve has more going for it, but the big thing on Christmas Day is what makes it Christmas Day.
Yeah, agreed.
So, but yeah, any other Christmas topics you want to touch on? You think we hit a bunch of them today?
I think we hit a bunch. This is a fun episode. I love doing these holiday ones, and I hope I know we're not throwing you your normal like this is how you get better in life, but I hope it gets you thinking about some of the things in your own life. That's really what our hope is with these episodes. We get to laugh about the things that are cool to us, and hope you get you thinking. Like, what's your favorite Christmas movie? Go pick it out tonight and watch it with your family. What are the holiday traditions maybe you missed from the past that you can bring back and start with your kids? So think about those types of things. I hope you enjoyed it, and this was a fun one for me.
And if anything, it gives you time. Like, the reflection is a part of life, right? And memories. Like, dude, take a trip down memory lane every once in a while. Sit down, grab an old photo album, go to your grandparents' house, your parents' house, and say, hey, Dad, Mom, you got any old photos? It brings back so many things, so many emotions and smells and thoughts in your mind that, like, I like to, I look at these episodes like taking a trip down memory lane, and we enjoy them, But book recommendation today, Dave, is a very simple one.
Yeah. The Bible.
The good book. The Holy Bible. Could be the King James, could be the New International. You tell me. Pick it up and read it. It is the truth. It is everything. Start somewhere. Pick it up. That's how I started, right? Grew up Catholic, went, CCD and all those other things growing up, but I never really picked this book up and started reading it and understanding it, interpreting it. So that's your book recommendation. Jesus' birthday is a few days away, right? Right here. This is it. A good book.
I think that's well said. That's the book for the holiday season. Everybody go, please enjoy the holidays. Merry Christmas to you and your family. And we will see you very soon for a New Year's episode.